Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening, whatever it is at your time zone. Welcome to Pop Go the Writers. Tonight,
better you than me, Paul.
I should wash my hands first.
Yeah, I don't want to stick my finger in my mouth. Sorry, I just brushed my teeth. Damn it.
All right. Hey, everybody. How you doing? We are going to be talking about the main thing we're talking about tonight is Marvel's new series, What If?
Oh, and that salute you gave should be like this. Because Captain Carter. The British salute.
And seems to be our tradition here on Pop Go the Writers, whenever we start a new Marvel series, we bring in Jim Beard.
Yeah.
Who has been with us on the first episode of each of the new series.
I think I'm honored by that. Let's just go with that. Okay.
Now it's tradition.
Yeah, so, I look forward to it now. I was like, it's not being excited about a new Marvel show. It's that I get to go on Pop Goes the Writers.
So we know you're on vacation, but what have you been working on, Jim? What do you got new?
I haven't been working on much of anything because we won't go into it, but I don't have a Amazon KDP account anymore because Amazon terminated it unjustly and unfairly. So I actually have a couple of things in the pipeline that are just kind of sitting there waiting for to see if they'll reinstate my account, and if not, then I'm just moving the whole ball of wax somewhere else.
All right. Well, whatever you decide to do, let us know, and we'll make sure everybody out here knows.
Thank you. Thank you. And if anybody out there, works for Amazon, please contact me because they won't talk to me.
Yeah, they're not the best at communications.
They're not at all. The problem is that there's too many different departments, and no one department knows what any other department is doing at all. And they also believe very, very strongly in their computer programs. And if something goes wrong, they just follow protocol and assume that it must be right. And no matter how wrong it is.
Faith in the algorithms. Yep.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I believe it's pronounced algorithm.
Okay.
This is the first time you've been sitting with your particular background. That's quite the collection you have.
Yeah, you know what? I cleaned it today because I cleaned my entire house today, and I thought, oh, you know what? I'll show off the monsters.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's the Monster Squad behind you. Not the movie, not the movie version, but the TV show, Saturday morning TV show with Fred Grandy.
Which, what's funny is I've seen that back in the day, but I've never seen the feature film called Monster Squad. I've been told I should.
I think you might enjoy it.
I think so too. It's weird that I never saw it originally, and I have no idea, why I didn't.
Your setup there reminds me. I used to have a framed poster from Creature of the Black Lagoon, and a few other paraphernalia. I had gone down to a theater in Anaheim, in Orange County, and they were showing it one night with Ben Chapman there. And he signed all this stuff for us.
Yeah.
And I made kind of a collage of it when I was married, and my wife and I, we both got stuff and we hung it up, and it's sitting at her house. But I can go by and visit it whenever I like.
That's good to know. Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah, I thought for sure you were going to tell us it got ruined from water damage.
Yeah, right.
No, I have an oddly amicable divorce where we still hang out, and she comes over like every other weekend for dinner. So
that's good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whatever works.
Mr. Story, how are you doing? Do you? I see you have power again.
I do have power again, which I was quite happy that I got power soon enough to actually watch what if Agent or Captain Carter and
Paul, you really
and
missed
the Bad
out.
Batch.
You really missed out when he said that. You should have said, "I have the power."
What's that from?
If you didn't, what's that from?
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's He-Man, I think.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh,
I've
well,
heard of that.
wait a minute. That's probably a little after your time.
Just a tad.
Or now with Cody says good evening to everybody.
Good evening, Cody.
How you doing, Cody? Good to have you here. So, how was free comic book day over at the shop there, Paul?
It was excellent. It was the first time around for me running a free comic book day, and although it wasn't great for her, one of the other managers was helping out at our store because hers was without power through no fault of her own. Nor was it act of God. It was act of stupid person in the next
Active Panera bread.
Active bread, yeah.
I wasn't gonna take any shots at Panera. I
Oh.
still want to get coffee and soup there sometime.
I'll take the shots. I have no problem taking the shots.
So,
No soup. No soup for you.
no soup for me. Oh, wait.
Wait for it.
No soup for you. From my pal Larry Thomas. No.
Oh wait! All I have is my original copy of What If #1. I know that's. I mean, I can't compare to that.
Well, it just happened to be, you made the reference, so I had to pull it down.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm proud to be your straight man. I'll feed you lines any day, Paul Story.
It's because
All right,
all Dan does is go mute.
and well, he should.
Yes, it's a lovely power.
He has the power.
That's right. That's right. So, welcome to Castle Grayskull.
By the power of keyboard.
So, did either of you get a chance? Just talk about a little bit if we did. Did either of you get a chance to see Free Guy?
I did not.
No, I'm still mad at him for Green Lantern, so no, I won't do that.
Well, it's the two guys from Green Lantern. It's both Ryan Reynolds and Taika Waititi.
Okay.
But I got over to see it on Friday, and a non-spoiler quick thought on it is it's surprisingly funny and really got a lot of heart. It's a romantic comedy in the middle of this big action thing. And it really works surprisingly well.
And the co-star is the lady who plays the assassin on Killing Eve.
Yes, Jodie Comer.
Yeah. I saw her do an interview, I think, on Seth Meyers, and I was just like, what?
She's great. It's one of the kids from Stranger Things.
Which one?
The older one, Steve.
Oh, okay.
Joe Carey, I think it is.
Yeah.
The
guy in the sailor suit.
Yes. And Taika Waititi, but there's a lot of cameos and stuff. Channing Tatum has a big role in it. Yeah. And
I went to see the other Taika Waititi movie, Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
Yeah.
We talked about that last week. That was surprisingly good too. Both of them were very good movies.
That was the very first DC movie I've seen since Man of Steel.
Really?
Yes.
There's been a couple adequate ones in there.
Yeah.
I was done after Man of Steel, but I thought very long and hard about Suicide Squad and decided to go see it and enjoyed it.
Yeah. Now, did John Cena introduce the movie for you guys?
I watched it here at my house on HBO Max, So if he did, that would be really weird.
Okay.
Yeah, the knock on the door.
Whoa, I'm John Cena.
No, he did not in the theater that I went to. Maybe I was in the wrong theater.
I went to a special preview showing. So
and he's doing a brag right now.
Wow.
I guess.
And he met the soup guy. I mean, I can't compete with any of this at all.
All this name dropping.
I was going to say I could bring out my Christina Hendrick signed photo, or as I think of her, Yosaf Bridge.
All righty.
Well, I never met her. Actually, a friend got it for me.
Yeah. I met Adam West in 1999.
Very nice.
I've done
a couple of years ago.
Who?
Burt Ward.
Oh, Burt Ward. I didn't hear you. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
No, never heard of him.
Yeah, I thought you were just returning the favor from the He-Man.
Okay. I had my picture taken with both Yvonne Craig and Lee Merriweather. So,
wasn't Yvonne delightful?
She was one of the most delightful creatures ever to grace the earth.
I got to speak with her and her sister at a couple of different cons.
Maribel, yeah, and her sister is incredible too. Yeah.
Brian says,
Lee is even better. Lee, you open up the dictionary and turn to the word lady and the definition of lady, and it has a picture of Lee Merriweather right there, because she is a lady through and through. Sorry, Dan. You know how this goes. That's why you only have me back every once in a while.
Yeah, I got a peck on the cheek from June Lockhart once. So.
Oh my God. I don't know if I can do any.
Did Adam West
Yvonne Craig had her arm around me when we took the picture.
Oh. Hey Dan, have you ever met anybody?
He's met us.
Oh, Jack Kirby.
Oh well. All right, game over. Game over, man. Sure. Game over. You just nuked us from orbit.
Yeah, I was just sitting back waiting.
Still in business? Oh,
all right. Before Brian rolls through the bottom of the screen like Sergio Aragonés, we should move on.
Speaking of Mad Magazine, did I mention that I got to hear Phil Lamar read out my name when he read the Eisner category for best short story, single issue story? I didn't win, but it was nice to hear my name read by Phil Lamar. You did bring up Mad TV, so
yes.
I was once at a convention, and it was standing at somebody's table in this tiny little crowd, and the next thing I know, there's somebody right at my shoulder trying to muscle his way in to get up to whoever it was at the table, and the guy at my shoulder was Will Eisner.
You've lost control, Dan.
I have. I've absolutely lost control. So I'm trying to decide whether I should jump in on this or just move us forward. I think I'm going to move us forward. So, Paul, did you watch the final Bad Batch?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking for more memorabilia.
I met Bela Lugosi Jr.
Ooh. I did get to see the last episode of Bad Batch, and all in all, I was really happy with the first season. I know you bailed.
All I know is that someone I know online, a cosplayer who's a big Star Wars fan, referred to it as a filler season.
I don't get that. I mean, I guess people bring expectations, and I didn't really have any, so I was just happy to kind of go along for the ride. So I guess I liked it better than the hardcore people who were looking for specific things.
I think there was a lot of good stuff in it, but I think there was also a lot of filler, and we ended up with 16 episodes when we probably could have done 8, and had a better season just by trimming it and tightening it up. There was a lot of unnecessary scenes and unnecessary episodes.
And yet I got to enjoy every last minute of it, so I'm not going to go along with your idea that it should have been trimmed.
Fair enough. Did you watch The Bad Batch, Jim?
No, but I once met the guy who played Uncle Owen.
There you go.
The original Uncle Owen. No, you know what? I watched
after Star Wars. He started using more sunscreen.
I did watch the first 2 episodes of Bad Batch, but I have not followed the animated shows at all. So, but somebody at work was really excited about Bad Batch, and I watched like the pilot and the second episode, and it wasn't bad, but I mean, I just felt a little not connected to it, but again, it wasn't bad. It's just that I didn't have any sort of investment in anything that was going on, except Grand Moff Tarkin. That was interesting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And there were a few cameos or connections, but they were all to the animated series.
Yeah.
Other than Fennec Shand popping up from The Mandalorian.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's very interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
all right. Well, then,
warming Nawen is always a good thing.
Yes, I agree with you on that.
I agree.
And there were some really good things in The Bad Batch. But like I said, there was a lot of filler. So at least that's my opinion. And that
check your window really quick to see if there's a cloud you can yell at.
That one I don't know what that one. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, sure. Yeah. Man yells at cloud, right? How
He's
silly
wearing an onion on his belt, as is the fashion of the time.
What happened to this episode? Where did you go?
Are you sure you want to have me back? Are you sure you want to have me back when Hawkeye premieres?
Oh, absolutely.
He wants you back. He doesn't want me back.
Oh. All right. Well, I'm the new co-host of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
Wait, no.
So I met Gene Simmons once.
Oh God! You know what? She's in one of my most favorite movies, Guys and Dolls. I just love her to death.
There we go. So what if?
Yes, let's move on to what if.
Jeffrey Wright with that mellifluous voice.
Yes. One of the things I've enjoyed the most in this last week is watching other some YouTubers and stuff covering this show and how badly they're slaughtering the name Uatu.
What?
Really?
How hard is that?
One person was calling him Utah.
Yes, Johnny Utah went on to become the Watcher.
Uatu. Yeah. I've heard some pretty interesting pronunciation of Uatu. And all just
man.
All right. I think the first thing we ought to talk about is the animation style.
Hmm.
So, and I have to say, somebody else actually mentioned this, and I can't remember off the top of my head who it was, but they said it reminded them of the old Max Fleischer cartoons. And I kind of see it. It's not exactly the same, but that rotoscope, the classic art style, kind of a 40s look to it.
And the use of shadow, light and shadow. Yeah, that's very interesting. I kind of agree with that. Yeah. I was surprised at how much I like it because I'm not really an animation fan. And this was one of the series that I wasn't overly looking forward to, but I love the first episode. But yeah, that's a very interesting comparison.
Yeah, more rendered, more color.
Yeah.
Painting or highlighting and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, there was a lot more detail, like the coloring and stuff. Like all the cheeks were very rosy compared to the rest of the face.
Yeah,
so there was definitely more depth to the coloring.
Yeah.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me kind of Sean Galloway's art.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I like that
me.
I like that they gave us enough actor likeness, to hit us with the character, but not like overboard on it. I mean, it's still very stylized, but I like that you could see Chris Evans, even though it's not Chris Evans's voice. You could still see that the skinny Chris Evans in that, and Haley Atwell, the same way.
I see, and I thought maybe we would get Chris Evans doing the voice, since they said he's in talks to do another Steve Rogers appearance or something.
I heard supposedly, and of course they can say this, but that the schedules wouldn't line up.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
Which is funny because he did a cameo in another movie just recently.
Really?
I have a feeling that this would have been a little bit more time investment than just a cameo, but I mean, I don't know. I suppose he probably could have done that in one day, but
in his closet at his house.
Yeah.
There were some cameos in Free Guy, voice cameos, like Hugh Jackman does one, and he literally did it from his closet. He just recorded it on voice memo, sent it in, and they used it. And I guess they also got Krasinski and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and female actress.
We put up the spoiler. We don't have the spoiler banner going, Dan.
You know what? If you don't know that you can't tell. There's some people who actually make appearances, and I'm not saying who they are.
Oh, okay.
No, I just meant in general, we usually put up the spoiler when we're going to talk about a show.
Yeah. Brian made an interesting point on the animation that Bucky looked like a Disney prince. Bucky was very, very stylized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that. I saw somebody on Twitter criticizing Bucky's part to say that all he had was like stupid one-liners or something and it was very un-Bucky like. Whatever that means.
If you watch the first Captain America before he became the Winter Soldier, that's pretty much what he did.
I know, it's like I think everybody has forgotten what the character from before he was the Winter Soldier. Yes, that wouldn't be stuff that the Winter Soldier would necessarily be saying, but no, I didn't see any problem in the way that that he was in Captain Carter.
Yeah, he was kind of a cocky smartass.
Right, exactly right. Yeah, he was Steve Rogers' cocky smartass friend.
Yeah,
absolutely.
With like that whole when Peggy came into the bar and was wearing that red dress, and he's like, "Am I here? Because he kept trying to hit on her, and
right,
got nowhere at all."
Yeah.
Right.
Cody says that the animation style reminded him of the Telltale game series. They did some Walking Dead games and a few others. They also did a didn't they do the Fables game? There was the Jack the Wolf, the wolf character had a game.
I don't know.
Not Jack.
Yeah, but I could see that as well.
I know one thing: if they would use this style of animation to do some DC projects, I would actually watch a DC animated project. But the stuff that passes for animation these days is just, I mean, go please, let's go back to the old Filmation, animation. I'd rather have that than what passes for it today.
DC just recently changed their art style, and there's they don't have as deep of coloring as this is, but they're using a lot heavier line weights now, or changing line weights to give a lot more depth, and that's in the stuff like Superman, Man of Tomorrow, the new Long Halloween 2-part movie, those and the Justice Society one all have the new art style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So and I kind of like it, but I'll admit that this art style really stands out to me. But it was more than just the style. There was a flow to it. A couple of the action scenes like when they had the swing music going, and Captain Carter and the Hydro Stomper were going through the airplanes, and that, or where she's invading the building, and it's like this one long one shot.
Yeah.
It's just so seamless and flowed so well, which you don't normally get in animation, but you should be able to.
Yeah.
Quick, there's a question from Cody that I find interesting, which was how Howard, Tony described him as being cold and distant, but he wasn't really like that in the first Avenger, nor even in Agent Carter. But I think that what turned him cold was the fact that he kept kind of losing people, and he was also always trying to hold Tony to like his standard, and also I felt because of the resentment Tony showed Steve, I think that he held Tony up to also
there's a lot of years there, between the Howard Stark of First Avenger and the Howard Stark that we see in the earlier, in those flashback things, or in Iron Man or Iron Man 2 or whatever. I people can change, and obviously as he got older, things changed, and I think you made some really good points there. And he could have become, disillusioned about things too, or that his life wasn't as exciting as it was when he was a young guy.
You got to figure only thing that was transformation from Dominic Cooper to John Slattery was pretty painful.
Yeah. The only criticism I have about Howard's part in Captain Carter is that he's right there in the middle of everything when they were at the Red Skull's base, and he just has his regular clothes on, and he's running around, and it's like, I mean, he doesn't even bother to put any kind of like a flak jacket on or anything whatsoever. And I don't know. I thought that was a little strange, or that they at least should have made some mention, that Peggy could have said, like, Howard, will you please put something on more than just your regular clothes?
He didn't even take a suit jacket.
Like he should have even been in the middle of any of that, whatsoever. But that's a minor quibble that I had with the whole thing. It would have ruined
the lines of his clothes.
Yeah,
right.
I want to tackle Cody's thought too, because of it. You guys follow me on Facebook, so you probably saw my post on Friday. But when someone becomes a parent, a lot of their previous life gets kind of put aside and put to the past, and they take a different role. My father that I knew was the guy who never missed work. He would have to be literally on his deathbed before he'd ever call off on work. 7 days or 5 days a week, he was at work. When he was at home, he was doing what needed around the house. There wasn't a whole lot of relaxed time for my father. Mm-hmm. Yet I've gone and talked to his brothers and stuff, and I learned more about him growing up and some of the weird things, or some of the things he did. And never did I ever get those stories or see that from my dad. I would find that out later on. And the example for this was on Friday. My father passed back in October. And I knew that at one point when he was young, he was a bartender in Florida in the late 50s, like 57, 58, 59. And he actually worked at a club where Lenny Bruce was the headliner.
Oh, I remember this story.
Yeah, and basically his job was, when Mrs. Bruce showed up at the front door, to run up the back stairs and get Bruce's girlfriend out before she got up there. That's how the story was told to me. But on Friday, I'm driving with my mom down to a doctor's appointment, and the radio's on, and I've got satellite radio, so it tells you the name of the band and the song, and it says Weezer, Buddy Holly. And my mom sees that, she goes, "Yeah, your dad was friends with Buddy Holly." I'm like, "Excuse me?"
Well,
When he was a bartender in Florida, Buddy Holly would come in to see Lenny Bruce and stuff like that, and he was in there enough times that your dad and him became friendly. I'm like, how is this a story I'm hearing now?
Wow.
Do the years line up right for? Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Buddy Holly, basically, his plane crash was in '59.
Yeah. Okay.
And he basically was on the scene from '57 to '59, right when my dad was working down in Florida.
Wow.
So, yeah, trust me, it blew my mind too. But it's like, that's the type of story you find out after the fact. But if that doesn't seem like my dad at all.
Yeah.
But
Too bad he doesn't have a photo. You don't have a photo of the two of them together. Yeah. That would have been really something.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's like Keegan-Michael Key finding out after Dwayne McDuffie died that they were half brothers.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Is that
right?
I mean,
Wow.
it was just something. I think it had something to do with the obituary or something, and so they never knew when Dwayne was still alive. So
Wow.
Yeah.
Cody adds, so it's kind of like tough love situation with Tony. It pushed him to become who he was. That's good, Paul. Thank you. Also, Tony used that to push himself for acceptance for his father. Good character development.
Yeah.
And also, Howard was very much like, oh God, don't be me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he was Howard after he found Maria.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
You know what? I'm really. It's really hitting me now that there is a really fascinating story there in the MCU. Is the life of Howard Stark. And me being a writer, it's like somebody needs to write this as a novel, the Howard Stark story, but in the MCU, because it really is fascinating. His World War II things, and then later, and then being the father of Tony, and then his strange death, and all of that. Yeah, now I'm starting to really see the through line, with all the Howard Stark. Appearance.
And it makes a lot of sense that he would build the Hydra Stomper because he didn't get access to I always want to call it the Cosmic Cube, but the Tesseract.
You can do that. You're among friends.
He didn't get access to the Tesseract in our timeline until after the war.
Right.
So that's when he started looking at it as a power source and using it to build the arc reactor. But during the war, when he's trying to stop the Nazis and Hydra, him putting it in a battle suit makes perfect sense because of what his priorities were at that time. Yeah. So, because I heard a lot of people going, well, how would he have built a battle suit? I think he had, I think they both had the technology to do that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And in a way, it's kind of.
He had no way to power it.
Right. And having the cube made the difference.
Yeah.
What do you think about the whole silly controversy, in my opinion, about that Peggy doesn't get an actual code name, that she should have been Captain Britain? It doesn't hold any water as far as I'm concerned, because there's reasons in First Avenger why Steve is Captain America, and that just doesn't exist in What If.
Yeah. Well, they dubbed him Captain America for the USO show.
Right. Yeah, it's exactly that. Yeah.
Where they talked about putting her in the USO show and actually built a costume or started a costume. They never did it. So making her Captain Britain wouldn't make a lot of sense unless they had actually done that.
Exactly.
And they want to blow that name on a What If segment.
Well,
because the trademark issues and whatnot.
Yeah, I wondered about that, because Captain Britain came out of the UK arm of the of Marvel Comics, but I mean it's a what if. I mean, I've heard that before, like, oh, they want to save that name for, a real Captain Britain, but it's like, it doesn't matter. It's a what if story anyways. They could have, used the name, but I'm kind of glad that they didn't, because again, it wouldn't have made sense in that setup.
Yeah.
I think also they were going for the parallel. She was Agent Carter, so they just, slapped Captain, became Captain. She became Captain Carter rather than trying to come up with the whole thing.
It might have been like this much forced that she wanted to become a captain, maybe just for the alliteration, of all things. Like captain sounds good, or like, well, why not lieutenant or
Colonel Carter,
Colonel Carter, Corporal Carter. No, it's got to be Captain.
Although being a Stargate SG-1 fan, every time I hear Captain Carter, I think of Amanda Tapping.
Our friend Andrew agrees on the USO tour Captain America name.
Yeah. Well, good. Tell everybody else that, and tell them to shut up, because it's a stupid argument.
Yes.
All right.
As most internet arguments are.
Yeah, it's about as stupid as the one that people felt cheated because she didn't bust out of her little tank top thing when she got augmented.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I actually like the fact that she grew, that she was taller, because I like that part of the super soldier serum and the whole thing in Falcon and Winter Soldier. I know, Paul, it was a perfect series. I just would have preferred if there was some physical augmentation other than adding the strength.
Right. Although, again, the guy did explain in the laboratory that his formula was better than Erskine's formula because it didn't make him into some big muscle-bound clod.
I know, but I'm used to John Walker actually being bigger and buffer than Steve Rogers.
Yes. Well, of course, Walker was always a bigger, buffer guy.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about somebody that might have been played by the wrestler guy,
John Cena.
I mean, John Walker was that size.
Yeah.
Although he was not as tall as I thought he would be.
I got to tell you, after watching Suicide Squad, had they cast John Cena as John Walker, that might actually have worked.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you both if you would have liked it. What if he would have played John Walker?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Wyatt Russell was brilliant. I thought he did a great job. But I could see Cena taken a little more serious as an actor.
Well, we're going to get a Peacemaker TV series, so you can just
looking forward to that,
block out the Peacemaker name and imagine that he's U.S. agent. Same deal, right?
Yeah, they're pretty close.
Yeah, really. I mean,
except U.S. agent doesn't have a toilet bowl on his head.
Hey, that's a beacon of what is it? Truth.
Yeah. Beacon of freedom. Beacon
of freedom. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. It's just
little thing. Okay.
A quick aside: the one of the beauties of Suicide Squad is that they do not belabor any explanation of any character in that movie. It's just sometimes you don't even get very much at all, and it's like we don't need to. It's just like, yeah, he's believed to be some kind of shark god, but whatever, and you just move on.
It's a space virus.
Why the hell Peacemaker's wearing that? Why did he even have a costume? Why is he wearing that weird helmet kind of a thing? It doesn't matter. Mention it, move along.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk. Cody, I'm going to get back to that. We're going to get to the plot, but I want to talk about the voice actors. I'm trying to have believe it or not, with how off the rails this show has been so far, I am trying to move things along in a certain structure.
Yes, so, you are.
It's the structure of a train wreck.
Yes.
A beautiful train wreck that you can't look away from.
And,
Yes.
well, some people are afraid of trains.
Voice actors good. Voice actors good.
I thought it was interesting
Bucky's
who
great.
came back and who didn't.
Yeah, I totally
no.
agree with that. I mean, there was some kind of deep dives there that they didn't have to do, right?
Yeah, well, like they killed off Colonel Phillips like that because Tommy Lee Jones wasn't coming in to
Right.
voice the character.
But it's nice that he was drawn like Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then they get Bradley Whitford, who did Agent Flynn
Yeah.
in the one shot, and they bring him in as Colonel Flynn. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
he was kind
Yeah.
of the same
And
douchebag.
he was only in the extra, right?
Yeah, he was in the Marvel one shot. Yeah,
Yeah, which I thought that was pretty impressive that they got him. And all kudos to Bradley Whitford. He plays that character just you want to punch him.
oh yeah.
Wait, they go so far as to get the guy that played Dum Dum Dugan, for the voice, but they could have had anybody. I mean, I'm glad. I'm really happy about it.
Yeah,
The voice casting that surprised me
just about everything.
in the scene where the Red Skull is being confronted by the Nazis, and the one Nazi who's talking to him is like, the Fuhrer wants to see you. He goes, oh, he demands. Well, it turns out that the head Nazi is Daryl Hammond from Saturday Night Live.
Is that right? Okay.
It's like, why did you get Daryl Hammond?
What's the name of the guy that does Red Skull now?
Ross Marquand.
Okay.
I noticed that he went stronger towards the Hugo Weaving version this time.
Paul, yes. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Oh,
he
sorry.
was more Hugo Weaving than ever before. In fact, for a split second, I thought maybe somehow they coaxed Hugo Weaving back. My God, he's more Hugo Weaving than Hugo Weaving is. Hugo Weaving should be like getting his lawyer on the phone. They stole my voice.
Yeah.
And I think they really tried. I think he tried to avoid, like, he wanted to sound like him, but not too much like him in Endgame.
Right.
Yep. No, it wasn't Infinity.
He was in both.
Yeah. But I think he was trying to be close, but not exact.
Yeah.
And this time, because it was in that time period, maybe.
Yeah.
He let himself do it. But yeah.
I did find it interesting that when the Red Skull is his human-looking self, that it does not look very much like Hugo Weaving at all. But the moment he's the Red Skull, it's like it's exactly Hugo Weaving with makeup on. But yeah, I wondered if they had to stay away from a Hugo Weaving likeness.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
Hugo Weaving, the Red Skull in the human form, Dr. Erskine didn't really look like Dr. Erskine.
No.
Yeah.
Not really.
And yet
Did he
Stanley
have longer
Tucci.
hair even?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet Stanley Tucci did the voice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
artistic choices.
Yeah, and then the bomber, I can't remember the actor's name, but he's a big actor, and he didn't look like him at all either.
Oh, come on. He was
He was in the Hobbit movie.
The guy of Gisborne in the
Yes.
Robin Hood TV series. Richard.
Yes.
Oh man, that's gonna drive me nuts.
Oh, he played Sherlock Holmes, right? Sir Guy of Gisborne. Yeah, Basil Rathbone.
You talk about Sherlock Holmes for a minute. I'll look the guy up.
Damn.
Richard Armitage.
Thank you, Andrew.
Oh. Armitage. Richard Armitage.
Yes.
Apparently he's now a 00.
But yeah, so we get Jeffrey Wright as the Watcher. We get Haley Atwell back as Peggy Carter.
Thank God.
Josh Keating, who has done a bunch of stuff in the Marvel Universe for the animated stuff. He's been Spider-Man. He's been a bunch of the other series. nails the Steve Rogers character.
Yeah.
Where I had to look it up to see if Chris Evans actually came back. But then again, for one line at the end, they bring back Jeremy Renner. You know?
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, probably though he they probably had him doing while he was shooting Hawkeye.
I would assume yes, yeah, rather than just have him, phone in one line. In it.
What about Toby Jones? Toby Jones has 2 lines. Shaisa, and then I will tell you nothing. He told me everything.
Yeah.
I did love that.
What is that Samuel L. Jackson at the end?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So they probably had him there already. They probably did that. They probably said, okay, this character is in this many segments. We're going to record your stuff all at once. You know,
And that makes sense for like Samuel L. Jackson, Jeremy Renner. But I don't think Stanley Tucci's going to pop up anymore.
No, I don't.
He really only had like 2 lines.
But you know what? God love him that he was game enough to do that. That he knew that fans would love it, that it was him and not somebody else.
Yeah. Well, and he'll never get because Erskine died. He'll never get to play that character again.
Yeah. How many times do you have to revisit the?
Yeah. Okay, so now do you think that Chris Evans sits back going, I should have come back. Everybody else did. I should have come back.
Yeah. Wait, only if he was able to, but just decided not to. But we're being told that it was that he just couldn't.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know what to think about that.
I think he probably would have if he could have, because he seems very, well, what do I know? I all my impressions of him are from movies and interviews.
Yeah. Is Robert Downey Jr. in this series at all?
No, he's not coming back for it.
Oh, I'm disappointed in him. Hopefully it was a scheduling thing again. I don't want to hear any that any of these actors that we all love so much, decided not to on purpose, come back, even if they could.
Well, I'll understand if I would understand if Scarlett didn't want to come back.
Yeah, well, I could understand that she recorded something and then they wiped it out and got somebody else. Hey, if I'm not mistaken, this will be like Chadwick Boseman's one of his last performances. Is that right? Yeah. Wow.
He's supposed to be in 4 episodes.
Yeah, that's going to be really sad, knowing that this is one of his very last performances. Jeez.
Yep. Yeah, I think it actually is his last performance.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah. So, all right. So it is quite the cast when you look at it, how many people did come back. Yeah. I mean, Dominic Cooper has been great as Howard Stark.
Yeah.
And I think they nailed the artwork on him.
God, yes. Yeah.
It was like
they
literally
just drew over photos of him.
Yeah. With the other characters, like, oh, yeah, they're artistic renditions. But with him, it was like, yeah, that's just Dominic Cooper.
It may have been in his contract.
Yeah, just take pictures of me, and
I demand that my animated avatar look exactly like me.
I do find it interesting that with most characters, they do the aging process. Mm-hmm. It's like with Haley Atwell, when she appeared in Ant-Man and the Wasp, supposed to be in the 70s, they aged her up. When she appeared in the Civil War and stuff like that, they aged her up. Mm-hmm. With Howard Stark, because they cast 2 different people, they've stuck with that.
Yeah.
Where everybody else
Flattery was there first.
Yeah.
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 But they didn't suddenly, when he appeared in Endgame, they went back to him instead of just aging up Dominic Cooper.
Yeah, I mean the precedent was set there, Yeah, Yeah, that's interesting. But I don't think anybody wants anybody else as Peggy Carter than Haley Atwell. No matter how she looks or how they have her made up, there would be rioting in the streets if they had
Haley
replaced
Atwell
her.
is dreamy and exceedingly talented.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Now, I'm sitting here thinking, is there any possible way that she could ever be Peggy Carter ever again? Like, Marvel, find some way to, we don't want to let go of that character at all.
There is a rumor
that
some of the characters that we meet in the What If series will go into the live action, making appearances in the Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah, Dan, I think it was you that you had watched What If before I did, and I saw your little blurb, and I think it was you who said that there's definitely some something here that will continue or whatever. And as I was watching it, I kept thinking about that, like, well, what is here? And I'm assuming you mean the very end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that, and also, I think the creature that they summon is I always get this name wrong. Shumagorath. I think it's Shumagorath, and that's supposed to be the big bad in Doctor Strange.
Okay.
So I think what we're getting here is kind of background set up for Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. Right, because we haven't had a Disney Plus Marvel series that didn't have tentacles, if you will, that went out into something else.
Right.
So why would What If be any different?
I see what you did there.
Yeah,
I see the man, Paul Star. You the man.
I still think that Multiverse of Madness is going to be the MCU equivalent of Crisis on Infinite Earths, in the sense that they're ripping everything wide open. They're showing us all these multiverses. What If is going to give us all the possibilities. And then by the time Phase 4 ends, whether it's in End of Doctor Strange or it's Ant-Man or Fantastic Four closes out this thing, by the time we're done and they kind of compress everything back into a single universe, they're going to be able to make changes to move the universe forward as they want, like DC did with Crisis. So if they want to swap an actor, if they want to bring somebody back from the dead that they already killed, if they want to introduce characters as always having been around that hadn't been, those types of things, they'll be able to do it through this process. I think that's what they could use all this for.
Yeah.
So, and the more extreme stuff they do introduce in the What If series will get the audience ready for whatever it is they decide to do. So we're going to get T'Challa as Star-Lord. We're going to get zombie Avengers. Those are the types of things we're getting in What If, just by the trailers. We're getting a very dark Doctor Strange, stuff like that. I think by the time they're done with What If, they will have shown us enough oddity, enough extreme, that whatever they pull together at the end will be much more palatable to people because they've seen these things.
Maybe we'll get a glimpse of a live action Captain Carter somewhere. That's just a cameo. That would really be something.
Yeah, that's what people have been talking about for Doctor Strange, is that some of the Guardians of the Multiverse, which is what there's that one poster that has all the different What If characters, like Captain Carter and T'Challa, Star-Lord, stuff like that, all together into one group, is that some of those characters will pop up in Doctor Strange.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I just saw a really, really nice fan-made Black Panther 2 poster with Shuri as the Black Panther. And it was one of those ones where you have to do a double take to look at it, because it's like, wow, that actually looks like it could be, the actual poster, but it's obvious, it's not. But just saying T'Challa made me think of, it was a really, really nice fan-made poster.
So, quickly to answer Andrew's question, I don't believe they will be bringing in mutants, X-Men, or Deadpool, but definitely Mephisto.
Finally. Because you know what? We were promised Mephisto.
Yes.
There was we had it in writing that we were getting Mephisto, so damn it all, we better.
Well, we've already seen Mephisto's name in the MCU. There's that scene where he's showing the Tesseract folder at the end of Captain America, The Avengers, where Steve Rogers punches the bag off the hinge.
Yeah.
And then Nick Fury shows up. If you actually pause it and you read it, it talks about Mephisto in the Tesseract folder.
Oh, I didn't know if I knew that before.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that we won't get mutants and stuff, but I think the door will be open for them.
Don't want no mutants. Sorry. I don't want any X-Men in the MCU at all.
Yeah, they're coming. I don't think you can stop.
I know.
TLC reference there, though, Jim.
What?
That was a very nice TLC reference. Don't want no mutants.
How cool am I? I didn't even know I did that. And wow.
I don't want no scrubs.
What?
You know?
So what is Kamala Khan going to be in the Ms. Marvel series? Is she going to be an Inhuman?
I don't know. I mean,
right?
Does Marvel feel burnt by that horrible series? Will they just pretend because they're pretending Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. didn't exist, and they did a whole Inhuman thing.
Yeah, and supposedly they won't even acknowledge the Agent Carter series.
Yeah. Well, the whole Legends thing they did for Agent Carter, or for Peggy Carter,
right?
There was no footage from the Agent Carter series. It was all from her appearances in the Captain America movies and stuff, and the one shot. That's it.
Wow.
There was nothing from Agent Carter.
Wow. Of all things that they, could fold in, it has Dominic Cooper in it, right? I just don't get
Dominic
that.
Cooper? It has Toby Jones as Arnim Zola at the end.
Right.
Yeah, I don't understand why they're so against it. Now, I understand that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. went kind of way out there in the last couple seasons.
Yeah. Sure. It's ABC, but I'm wondering if there's still some kind of legalities there.
I don't think it's that. I think it's the feud that was between
the Marvel TV versus Marvel Studios,
right? Or more specifically, Kevin Feige and Perlman.
Yeah.
And then Kevin Feige obviously won that. Now he's in charge of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let bygones be bygones.
I almost wish Marvel would just come out and say, look, this is what we're doing. Either none of that exists, we're going to recast if we use any of the characters, or, well, we're going to pick and choose. But just because Feige won't even say one way or the other, he'll come out and say, well, I really liked Charlie Cox as Daredevil and Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin and a couple others. But, he hasn't said anything nice about Iron Fist or Luke Cage. So you hear a lot of...
what is there to say bad about Luke Cage? That was a good series.
I didn't love the ending on Luke Cage, but Mike Luke Cage was
you know what?
Perfect.
If it had continued, you might have accepted that ending, but it's because that was the end, and that we don't get anything. I had a Facebook memory come up the other day that reminded me that there was a mention of the raft in Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
And just those again, those connections, that connective tissue was sometimes it was cool, and then
the event. How
Marvel Television was great at making all that stuff connect. You had Misty Knight on the Luke Cage series is referenced in the Cloak and Dagger series. As the cop in Cloak and Dagger used to work with Misty Knight up in New York before she moved to New Orleans. So Marvel TV made everything connected. And we had certain movie characters showing up in the TV series. It's just that the other way around, the Marvel Studios is like, nope, don't know who they are. Never saw them before. Nope.
Yeah.
So, but there are rumors that these guys some are gonna pop up, some aren't.
Well, Charlie Cox is not a rumor, right? Isn't we know for it's still a rumor?
Yep.
Oh, I thought people had seen him on the set or
There's been I believe there was scenes of him around, but then there was also photos which was supposed to be Kristen Dunst and Deborah Wool near where they were doing the reshoots for Spider-Man. But then later on it came out that it wasn't Deborah Wool, it was Kristen Dunst's best friend, and they showed her with and without the mask, and it's like, oh yeah, she looks a lot like Deborah Wool, but it's not Deborah Wool.
Okay.
So there is no actual confirmation of that.
Okay.
But, and I'm wondering how many of these movies are actually going to come out on time, and how many are going to get pushed.
Yeah.
You know,
don't say that. Don't say.
Venom's already been pushed back. So, all right, let's talk about the story itself.
In what? Oh, what if? Oh,
yeah. I thought they chose an interesting moment to have the switch, because it isn't just that Peggy Carter says, "No, I'll stay here," but when she does, everybody stays there. Therefore, the bomber stayed or the saboteur stays in the room and launches it early.
Right.
Yeah.
Cuts off the bomb early. So had Peggy went, no, I'll go upstairs, Steve would still been Captain America.
Yeah.
So what do you guys
think? And the fact that she was the one that spotted, which I think she did in the first Avenger as well.
I think that's right.
She was able to be more active. In this case, she was moving to stop it, and then I liked it, and I loved the fact that Steve was just like, kind of go Peggy.
Yeah. I like that. I like that there was a part for Steve in the entire story and I like that she was still attracted to him, even though he was a 98-pound weakling. That he still was the same guy inside, and that was really nice because it gave hope, for guys like me, 98-pound weaklings, that we could get somebody like Haley Atwell.
Well, it just shows that the hero's spirit is not the body; it's inside of you.
Yeah, sure. And that they kept the whole dance thing. Yes. I really appreciated that motif was still through the whole thing, and that I loved.
Yeah, I like that they kept the beats of the movie. They kind of rearranged some of them.
Yeah.
When things happened, but I thought the overall beats were still excellent and allowed them to shortcut, because it didn't feel like it was just a half hour.
Yeah,
it felt like a longer episode.
I just saw a criticism from somebody today that they didn't like it at all because all it did was it was the first Avenger movie, that nothing was really change, or all the plot points are still there or whatever, and I thought, no. Like,
well, plus,
no, like that's it's silly to say that.
But that was the way the series worked. The comic book series worked.
Exactly.
Little changes made the same events, and then it was worked out differently because of the thing. Hey,
I would really like to know if in First Avenger, if the Red Skull would have thought of bringing in an extra dimensional monster, like this Red Skull did. One might think that was in the back of his mind, to do that.
Well, I think
go Dan.
He didn't do that because he didn't have Arnim Zola. So he had the scientist who looked at it as an energy source. Without that scientist, he went for more mystical stuff.
Right.
Well, and also, he didn't have the cube as long. Because he got the cube and SHIELD, or the Scientific Strategic Reserve, Strategic Scientific Reserve, SSR, was already kicking their butts.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have the Hydra weapons.
Right.
Because they had the cosmic cube. So when he got it, he was like, what's the quickest way to deal with this?
Yeah.
He didn't have time to let's develop a bunch of armaments and stuff.
And may I just say that I really love the replacement shot of Peggy coming in shooting, in the exact same setup as Steve shooting.
Yep.
I don't know why. I think my heart leapt a little bit in my chest, to see that shot in there. I was all for repeating stuff from the original movie if we got shots like that.
I love that shot, but when she picked up a sword, that just seemed right.
Yeah. Yes. Well, shield and sword. Yeah. You know why? Because she's suddenly Wonder Woman at that point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in a sense.
Yeah.
She's become who's the British heroine? There's a British Britannia.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Well,
I thought you were talking comics-wise, and I'm like,
you are right. Dan, you are absolutely right. That is what she becomes, Britannia. Yeah. Yes. I mean, that's totally what they were going for. I have no doubt whatsoever that she becomes the embodiment of that, the representation of Britain.
Yeah. And they speculate, I don't know if it was established, but supposedly the sword was Excalibur.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I know of some people because the connection to Captain Britain. If she was Captain Britain does get Excalibur for a while.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But They didn't.
She just pulls it off the wall.
I was going to say, do you think that the Red Skull would just have Excalibur hanging around on the wall? Unless he didn't know what he had.
Mystical gewgaws.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the things I really liked in the episode, I liked how she shut down Flynn. With you're lucky to be in the room.
Mm-hmm.
I love the little montage scene with the swing music and them jumping from plane to plane. And
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the little handle on the back of the Hydra Stomper.
Yes, the fact that they built it so that they could go into.
Well, I'm a big Stargirl fan, so that reminded me of Stargirl and Stripe that she rides on the back of, in that same sort of way.
There was no similarity whatsoever.
No. Nope. It's just me. I was the only one who saw that connection.
Yes. But for the people complaining that the beats were different, they got very different at the end when there was a portal open. First thing, I didn't think the Space Stone had the ability to open up dimensional portals.
Well, do we know that Shumagorath wasn't somewhere in our dimension at the time?
Well, wait a minute. What does it do in the beginning of the first Avengers movie when Loki comes in? Isn't that the Space Stone?
And And
well, it did that exact same thing. It was the same setup.
Chitauri dimension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that's a dimension.
But it's also not supposed to travel through time. And it takes her 68 years into the future.
Yeah.
Did it? Or did she just spend time in a dimension where time passes a little faster?
So she was in there chopping up the calamari, and then when she came through, it just happened to be 68. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a think about it as a trip to Fairy. Where it's been a couple of years and I get back and I'm Rip Van Winkle.
Yeah. Yeah. Good one, Paul. Good one. Liking it. Like
Ant-Man in the quantum realm, gone for a couple hours, and turns out to be 5 years.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's cool. Andrew mentions the Hasbro figure Captain Carter can ride on the Hydra Stomp.
Oh, the Ducks figure, nice.
That is nice.
And I just saw that they're doing a Funko Pop figure of her riding on the back of it too.
Yeah. I love that combination. But I also like how proactive Howard Stark is in this. Because if you think about it, he's the one that gets her to go after the Tesseract in the first place, back before they get it to the Red Skull. While they're still transporting it, that changes the whole timeline.
Yeah.
You know, where Howard was more reactionary in First Avenger.
Yeah.
He was much more proactive.
In First Avenger, he was bouncing off of
Phillips.
Tommy Lee Jones' character.
Colonel Phillips.
Yeah.
Phillips, right. Whereas with Flynn, he was like, I hate this guy. I'm going to circumvent him.
And let me throw this out here and theorize that he was more inspired by Peggy than he was by Steve, because Peggy is Peggy, and although we didn't really ever see any hints of any sort of romance, one might assume that Howard was attracted to her and then gets caught up in everything, and for some reason Peggy inspires him to be more proactive than Steve ever did.
I don't know, because we find out in Civil War from Tony how much Howard constantly talked about Steve. That Tony was almost jealous of him because, my dad always talked about you.
Oh, you knew my dad? I never heard about that when I was. Well, that was actually Avengers, I think, where he was like, he got all shirty about Steve referencing Howard.
But talking about him, I mean, again, I don't know. It may be something more that it was Peggy, an attractive woman that inspired him. He may have had a thing like many of us for the British accent.
But
he would go anywhere and do anything for that British accent.
But he was basically throwing her out into the battle, which is kind of weird. Because with Steve, it's like, what do you need, buddy? Okay, you want a shield? We're going to make you a shield. When Steve came in. But with Peggy, he's coming out there going, come on, you need to get out there and fight. Here's a costume. Here's the shield. You need to go out there and do it. And with Steve, he was more there to support, but he wasn't pushing him.
Right.
Of course, Howard and Peggy had some kind of a relationship, and I'm not talking romantic, but they had a
fond youth.
They knew each other before. You got that feeling that they knew each other before.
Yes, they made it. They made a good team. Yeah, absolutely.
So when she was all like, hey, we're gonna go fly out there to rescue the 107th. Howard's the best pilot. Blah blah blah. It's so they already established rapport. That's the word I was looking for.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Whereas Steve, Howard hadn't really connected with.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say that. And plus, there was the whole thing when Peggy shot the shield, and Howard did his flinch, and Steve was kind of like whoa, and Howard was like right there with the she's something kind of thing.
So there's going to be no Winter Soldier in that universe.
True.
Nope.
Yeah, because Bucky is not captured or to be given the serum. He doesn't fall from the train. He's not captured. Losing. I got a kick out of like, geez, you almost ripped my arm off.
Yeah.
That was a fun line.
They did what if Captain America and Bucky never went in the ice? What if issue, and Bucky actually went on to help found Shield. And I could see him fulfilling the Marvel Comics Nick Fury role. Because he kind of did that in First Avenger. He was sort of the World War II Nick Fury, working with the Howling Commandos. So
there's some actually interesting things that could happen if they would want to try to continue that particular universe. After Peggy disappears, or whatever. That there's right. I mean, there's some. They could revisit that universe and follow Bucky for that matter. What if Bucky had become the head of Shield, or founded Shield or whatever?
All right, I've got one question though for you guys. Something that I haven't, I haven't figured out yet. In Captain America: The First Avenger, Bucky is when they're captured in the beginning, and Bucky is in a room by himself, and Steve goes and finds him.
Right.
Is that when he gets the serum, or is it later after he falls off the train?
No, it's before that, because he's. No, as far as I can tell, he's been already given the serum at that point. Falling off the train, or because that saves him, I think, from falling, down into that thing, is that he's already like that. Yeah, because he's very different after Steve rescues him. He's really he's got that real dark makeup around his eyes, and he's kind of drawn and everything. No, there's something really odd, about him at that point. Yeah. No, he's already been given it, and I think we're supposed to believe that that's what saves him from the fall.
Or at the very least, he's had some form of
he's been experimented on
by Zola.
Yeah.
Okay. So does that mean
that doesn't happen in Captain Carter?
Okay, but does that mean that Zola in the main MCU timeline successfully made a super soldier serum? And is Bucky really the only person he tried it out on?
I guess.
Well, keep in mind that he did get captured by the Americans.
I know, but so Bucky was the first person he tried it on?
As far as we know.
He got a whole camp full of detainees.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems kind of weird that the one he plucks out is Steve's best friend.
Well, it's either coincidence or there was other factors involved that he saw, in Bucky. I don't know if maybe it was the right blood type or, but then he doesn't get a chance to do that to anybody else because Steve comes in and rescues them.
Yeah.
Unless it's Zola.
I'm tap dancing as fast as I can.
Unless it's Zola, who it's his formula that is given to Falcon and Winter Soldier, Isaiah Bradley.
Oh.
Certainly, because he's working. Because the timeline fits then.
Mm-hmm.
Because Isaiah's for the Korean War, so it's a few years after.
Right. Yep. I think that sounds reasonable.
There's a plethora of Zola-based stories that they haven't done yet. That I think it's did he create
Zola, the TV series? There you go.
Oh yeah.
There's the one where the one story where he's able to turn people to stone.
I just want to see. I want to see an Arnim Zola with a robot body and his face is, in his chest.
Yeah.
I still want to see that.
They have the drawing on the table in the room.
Right. Yeah. I know. Right.
I can't believe no one got my cheese joke about.
Do it again.
Zola.
Oh. Okay. Well. All right.
On.
Wow.
So, Paul. We'll just leave Paul muted for a while.
That was very cheesy, Paul.
Yes. You're a monster.
Damn it all, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Something with Swiss. Something with Swiss. Come on. It's Swiss cheese.
Apparently it was done by Zola in 1943 in order to both test the serum and up the strength of the weak slave labor. Okay. I could see it. Yeah, there is talk about Red Skull wanting them to work harder.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but they will die.
That's the show I want. Just Zola and Red Skull, like living together.
Yeah,
just them having conversations.
A buddy film.
Yeah, yes. like an odd version of the Odd Couple. You know?
So, but by the way, as we learned in The Winter Soldier, actually, I am Swiss.
That's right.
So,
and there's your cheese joke.
There's your Swiss cheese reference. We had to find it, didn't you? You had to find it.
There were a few holes in the plan, but it came together.
Jesus, Paul.
Perfect Strangers Hydra. Yes, there you go.
Perfect. Johan and Arnhem.
Yeah. Now we do the dance of doom.
Oh, we are so off the rails. So
I don't even know where the rails are at this point.
Just think you get to go a whole nother, however long until Hawkeye comes out, until you have to have my influence on this show again.
Jim, he's pulling us off focus.
There you go. Damn it, Jim, we're a podcast, not.
I'm sorry. I've often been told I'm a disruptive influence on everything.
But we
right.
love it anyway.
Okay, wait, we have a question.
We need a question.
Do you think the vials of blood they took from Peggy will be a factor? It's possible because since they did move her to the future and we're going to get an Avengers type episode, I think episode 3 is going to center around Loki coming to Earth, and it might be the same universe. So we might see different super soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe that the blood in the vials will have something to do with the zombie apocalypse.
Ah.
Maybe they figure out how they try to use her blood, and in it they end up creating these things that can't die.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Do you foresee Uatu actually taking a part in the story at some point?
I think by the end of the series, we're going to get where he's going to have to bring together some of these heroes.
Because they're already making, references to all I do is watch. I do not get involved at all, whatever. And it's like, you don't say that unless you're going to break their, break
Yes.
That was what they did in the very first appearance of the Watcher.
Sure, right. And pretty much every appearance of the Watcher, he's constantly breaking the rule.
It's classic Chekhov's mantra,
Yeah.
I must never interfere.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the Prime Directive in Star Trek. They only created it so they could break it.
Right. I was surprised that they didn't really show him in the first episode, really show him.
He's kind of silly looking.
Oh, well, but you can make him kind of weird silly though, right? I get what you're saying. Big head, big bald head, right?
Yeah, although he did not look as weird in his first appearance because he was stockier. The head was not. He looked less like a Funko Pop, and it was later that they kind of slimmed down his build and emphasized the head.
What movie is it? What is it? Guardians 2? Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while.
Yeah. Brian has another good question. How much will the Red Skull's death affect the Soul Stone story? I think we have to keep in mind that we don't know how much we're going to stay with this universe, or if we're going to jump to others and then pull them all together. But I think.
But it's still fun to speculate. Yeah.
Yeah. He's really only a bit player when it comes to the Soul Stones at that point. So they could find someone else to be, the caretaker of the Soul Stones.
One assumes that there has to be a guardian, and the universe will pull from somewhere.
Yeah.
That could be a really good sequel in it too. Is an established MCU character becomes the new guardian of the Soul Stone. Somebody else who got sucked into the void or whatever. Yeah, it's fun. Very fun to speculate on that one.
Maybe it'll be Peter Quill, since he's not going to become Star-Lord.
Yeah. Yep.
Who? Come on, man. Star-Lord. Legendary outlaw.
No, it's going to be Gamora.
Yeah. There you go.
I love that flying turtle. Gamora.
I'm available. Dan, I'm available.
I appreciate that, Jim. It's getting close.
This guy.
I am very punchy this week.
Yes, you are.
I just.
Wow.
It's been a hell of a week, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. All right, we forgive you.
Say, if we could time this right, let's see.
Oh wait.
I keep doing it this way.
Yeah. All right, guys.
See, that's what I should have done.
Okay, guys, let's go ahead and start wrapping this up. Jim, where can folks find you?
Like dead fish. Where? What?
Where can folks find you, Jim?
Well, I'm right here at home right now.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Where can folks find you online, Jim?
Oh,
because I don't think you want them showing up at your house.
Go to Amazon, and as much as I hate Amazon now, I still have an author's page there. You can find me on my Amazon author page. You can find me on Facebook at The Beard, the Jim Beard fan page, and you can find me on Twitter at writer Jim Beard.
Paul, I'd like you to show what you've done to our guests, our audience now. No more cheese jokes. I can bear it.
I'm going to come up with a cheese joke before this thing is through, and I just need some time. I'm working with Kojak, and it's. I'll think of something.
I'm sure you'll come up with a good one.
Yeah.
Stop it! Swiss cheese.
Paul, where on earth can people find you?
You can find me at Storyville.com, Storyville on Twitter, Storyville on Instagram, and Storyville on the Book of Faces.
Wow.
How about you, Dan? Where can people
You're
find
really
you?
milking that name, boy.
Yes. I am Dan Wickline on just about all the social media. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and of course YouTube, where you're probably watching this show right now, or on Facebook. But so if you see this show, you've already found me.
Yeah.
Also,
he is Imelda Marcos on one. I think it's on WT Social.
Yes.
But
my FetLife is. And don't forget that I've got my new book, my 70s spy thriller pastiche mixed with urban fantasy called The Ember, Crest Protocol. It's a new Kindle Vella series. 2 chapters are up. You can read for free out there right now. So just go out to Amazon, put in The Ember, Crest Protocol, and you can read the first 2 chapters for free. And I'm writing the third one I'll probably write it tomorrow. So
good for you for trying Vela. What do you think so far?
It's interesting. They're still in beta, so it hasn't really taken off yet. But I think it's an interesting platform, and I'm kind of curious to see where it goes.
Do you know how many people read your stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's on your when you get it back on your Amazon dashboard.
Thank you for being so hopeful. I appreciate that.
But you can see your Vela hits, how many followers, how many people have read each chapter.
Great.
So it's pretty nice. So
I have like the idea for it, and I want to start writing it, but I thought, no, I don't have any way to do anything with it. So eventually, I will do one.
Yeah. Cody says it's good. Have a good night, gents, and Jim, thanks for the jokes.
Oh. Yeah. I'm still working on cheddar. Insert cheddar joke here, and I can't.
Cody didn't think any of what Paul said was a joke.
Do a story called Vita. So then you can have Vela Vita.
All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and mute Paul so we can wrap up this show. Thank you, Jim, for joining us once again for a new series.
Thank you very much for having me back. It's always a pleasure.
And we will see you for Hawkeye.
All right. I will be on target for that.
Oh.
Nice. Call your shot at the end there. I like it.
Hey, my aim is true.
He just gave us the shaft.
That's it, folks.
We're all in a quiver.
Cut now. Cut it
Good night,
now.
everybody.
Now.
See you next week.